Hey everybody, who's your Jedi here with another review for you, this time talking episode 11 of season 2 of Legends of Tomorrow called Turncoats. And all in all, I thought this was a decent episode, but there are several issues that I did have with it. First of all, like the really great cliffhanger from the last episode with Rip shooting George Washington, it feels like they just sidestepped that just a little bit too neatly. I mean, they just basically like, oh, we go back in time one day before this happens. Which, I mean, okay. I mean, I don't know. I was just hoping for something a little flashier than that. And again, if you try and figure out how the time travel rules work in regards to this, it's going to give you a headache. So, I did like that bit at the beginning where Rip gives the AK-47s or the assault rifles or whatever they were to the redcoats and kind of goes, "After all, boys, it's Christmas." It reminds me a little bit of that famous Harry Turtledove novel, Guns of the South. Um, so let's see, what else do we have? What do we have to talk about this episode? Let's just kind of get some of this stuff out of the way. The whole Nate and Amaya hookup thing. Now, Nate's really glossing over what dating is like in 2017. I mean, it's not like people don't get married. People do go on dates. It's not like relationships aren't weird. I mean, not everything is Netflix and chill, which is a term I hate because, if that's actually what you just want to do with somebody, uh, anyway, so them having that little hookup and Amaya trying to like, okay, it was fun, but this can't really go anywhere. And then Nate tries to badly cover up just how much he really genuinely did want it to go somewhere. I mean, come on, man. If you've just been honest with this woman in the first place, and Amaya kind of talking about about relationships too. It's like you were about like not dating teammates. It's like you were basically engaged to our man. What the hell, lady? I mean, that makes no sense. You have said you were basically going to get married once this stuff wrapped up. And that makes no sense to me whatsoever. But points to Nate for that rather thoughtful visit. Um, that was cute. That was very cute, giving her the ruby slippers, and her getting the Wizard of Oz reference. That was a nice moment, very reminiscent of when Captain America understood the reference to the Wizard of Oz in. Geez, was it the first Avengers movie? Yeah, that was the first Avengers movie. Um, let's see. Nothing really particular to say about Ray this episode. Um, although I will have to say, like the whole like super EMP thing that they did. Okay, that's all well and good. You'd think that there'd be something that they would have kind of, you know, anti-EMP stuff and all this crazy tech, but this isn't the first time that the Wave Rider has been shown to be especially vulnerable. And the real kicker is that the Redcoats actually get on there with like just some grappling hooks and rope into this high-tech time-traveling spaceship. Okay, granted, they've got Rip helping them out, and maybe he knows some way to make something that low tech work, but it's still really weak in my opinion. Let's see. Nothing really particular to say about Sarah this episode. I did like that moment where she puts Jax in charge. And, Jax is not really somebody you would think would be a putting somebody in charge kind of person. And even he says, like, I'm not cut out for this. But Jax pans up and rises to the occasion. And I think he's selling himself a little bit short. He has shown a capacity to lead in the past. Like when they took on the zombies in the past during the Civil War. He was the point man on that mission to the plantation. So that was nice there. Um, Nothing really particular to say about Stein this episode. Although they probably should try and get somebody with actual medical training because Gideon is constantly getting knocked out of action. So maybe yeah. Well, actually, I guess Sarah's probably would be the closest one. I mean, she's trained as a biologist, which is much more a much closer approximation of a doctor than a nuclear physicist is. Um, I did really like that moment where Rip tries to tempt Jax with using the Spear of Destiny to save his father. That was good. That was like, okay, that's the one thing that's going to make him hesitate just even for a second. Jax is a good guy. He's not going to go for it. But just for a second, you can sort of see him imagining it. No, so yeah, that was smart. That was smart. I do like that. What I didn't like is that bit at the end where Rip has the bit of the spear just walk away, and Sarah does the whole like, hey, I don't kill him, otherwise you'll become a bad person, blah 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 blah. Interesting that this is coming from Sarah, but it also is also very fitting. I mean, Sarah's somebody who knows she has a hell of a lot of blood on her hands, and that the idea of taking another person's life is not something that makes her uncomfortable. But Jax isn't like that. That's not who he is. And somebody like Sarah who knows just how much of a piece of your soul you give up when taking the life of another person becomes no big deal to you, it's understandable that she doesn't want to wish that on Jax, for him to walk down that road. What makes no goddamn sense is why they don't just shoot Rip in the leg and take the piece of the Spear of Destiny back, because what the hell's he going to do about it if he's shot in the leg? So, yeah. I guess she must have been still pretty woozy, because, trained member of a League of Assassins. She probably could take Rip in a fight if she had to. Unless, she was recovering from just having been shot. So we'll grant Sarah that she just wasn't up to it at that point, having just survived being shot and being technically dead. Nothing really particular to say about Ray this episode, although that scene where he oversteps that bit with Mick, that was hilarious. I loved that. And this was a great Mick episode. I love that whole speech that he gives to George Washington about how fighting dirty is about as American as it gets. It's a little bit debatable, especially if you know that George Washington in real life was not above fighting dirty at all. But yeah, not here, I live in Japan, but yeah, as a whole, in America, we generally are like, well, you gotta do what you gotta do in a fight. I mean, it kind of really does depend on what type of fight it is. I mean, if this is some dude is trying to kill you fight versus, some guy talked smack about you and he needs to be taught a lesson. Okay, that's a different situation. If it's like, the fight in the high school parking lot, then you gotta observe the proper rules, like no hitting below the belt. If this is a fight out in the street at a bar or something, it's like, yeah, totally kick the dude in the balls. But that was all pretty fun. And again, landed on a little thick with Mick getting a statue in Washington, D.C., complete with some rather poorly done CGI. Disappointed on the show probably could have done that much better. But funny nonetheless. And I definitely did love the Christmas little scene with everybody. It was sort of a nice way to sort of top off that conversation that Maya and Nate had at the beginning about how one day just sort of bleeds into each another. You can't really tell if it's Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, or whatever it is. And just starting like saying, "Screw it, today it's Christmas." Um, that was nice, and just like seeing everybody sitting around having a little Christmas party. It kind of reminds me of those comics that come out every year around Christmas time, where you see the superheroes getting together to hang out, and just sort of have Christmas together. And DC is really much bigger on this than Marvel is. Um, they're very big on like always having some art showing the heroes, helping people at Christmas time, delivering presents to the poor, or just having a big old Christmas dinner together. Um, it does feel like the heroes of the DC universe are much more apt to just sort of hang out with each other than Marvel heroes, although that is, in all fairness, subject to interpretation. Um, with that said, though, oh yeah, I do have to say I really kind of like what they're doing with brainwashed Rick here, especially that speech he gives with Jax. It's like about how like what, man, I why did I don't understand why I even bothered trying to protect history. All history ever got me was my wife and son murdered, and me not even be able to do a damn thing about it. In a way, it kind of was like if you played like the Persona games, the shadows of the characters that speak the side of themselves that they try and suppress. It doesn't feel like this is Rip as a puppet of the Legion of Doom, at least in terms of his emotions. In terms of his actions, yes. Here, it feels like Rip is letting a side of himself out that he's been keeping hidden. Part of himself that basically is like, why am I even bothering to do this? I can't have the one thing in this universe that I want. And if history is going to be such a terrible thing that it will deprive me of my wife and son, then why am I doing that? Why am I protecting this thing that stole the people from me that I love the most? Why would I do this? Why would I not want to watch it all burn? That is very interesting. I like that twist quite a lot. Okay, boys and girls, I'm going to call it here. As always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. You can, of course, follow me on Twitter at Hoosier Jedi, and please also join me on Tumblr at Jedi Reviewer. Until next time, take care and have a good one.